Okay, so um, I did this actually. So this is the Fold 4. I purchased this um, refurbished on eBay, and it was working great for the longest time. And I brought it to work with me. I have this case here, has no hinge protection, and I was caulking something at work. Got caulk on my hands. I wiped my hands, thought it was all off. I smeared it by accident on the hinge. Didn't realize it. Went to open it, and the caulk ended up getting inside the hinge. Get hinge protection. And it dried inside the hinge, and now it doesn't open flat like it used to. Even if you press it down, it doesn't work. So outside of that, a couple days ago, it was working great. So what I did was, after going on eBay thinking I'll get a Fold 5, refurbished or something, I couldn't find one. I'll get this replacement, that replacement. I then looked into the T-Mobile app and realized I had some phones laying around that I could trade in. So get some money off. Got a trade-in value of like $800 for an old phone I had. It was like S21 Ultra, and I only paid like not even $300 for it. So, but still, the price of this phone that I got, the latest Fold, still a hard pill to swallow, but it is amazing. And so now we're going to be using this to record the Fold 7. But I'm make sure I don't use HDR to record, because that's going to make it harder to edit. Yada yada. Alright, so now we're going to switch over to this camera, and it's going to be recording the new phone. Alright, now I'm recording with the I'm recording with the with Fold 4. There was a problem with the fact that I forgot I was recording with this device, and it was set to HDR, so now I'm going to have to worry about that, but whatever. Seems to be dealing with the lighting better. This phone deals with the lighting better than the phone I'm recording with. Anyway, so this is the Fold 7, and well, I picked this up. Definitely has the bigger, nicer front display. I should have recorded the front display on the Fold 4, but I'm going to try to do a comparison. I'm going to need a different phone for that recording, and that quality is probably going to be not so amazing because it's going to be using the Beam Pro, but I'll do my best. So this is using the Snapdragon 8 Elite, whatever. But it is, I do find this phone to be a little easier to navigate, just slightly. Like, the power is not really, like, there's so much power on the table with these devices that doesn't get used, but I did have some little hitches and things with the Gen 1 specifically on the Fold 4. I have a tablet that has the exact same specs, the Y700 Gen 2, and that runs perfectly fine without any hitches whatsoever. But on the Fold 4, it hitched and every now and then stuttered. It was nothing amazing, but having this being thinner, more like an actual phone, is nice. Opens up, it's a lot bigger. It's a decent amount bigger. It's taller, definitely. And yeah, so I like that. It's quite nice. You don't have the S Pen support on this. That is, I mean, like, a lot of people want to hand wave it, but it's $2,000 for the phone. It's a downgrade. And so people that want an S Pen have legitimate concerns. I don't want to go, oh, you're just haters. I see all people doing the "you're just a hater" thing. And if you want the S Pen and it's not there, then it's definitely an issue. And as far as like the punch hole camera, I don't like that punch hole. The old one didn't have that. I'll get used to it, but I really think that like I wouldn't even give a crap if they had the camera there at all. But that's me. And it's different. Now you see it rocking on the table. It's because they have that big camera bump on the back. So it's not like it's not folded flat. It's fairly flat. These never are perfectly flat. They tend to have a slight, like even my Fold 4 was worse. Even though it was normal, but it was worse. It wasn't an issue specifically like there was something broken. It was just that's how folding phones really are. But yeah, I mean, the amount of power, it does feel a little snappier. We do have some more features. Out of the box, the screen did not look very good. It didn't look terrible, but it wasn't very vivid. And I checked the settings, it said vivid, and I was like, wow, that's it? Because I looked at the Fold 4, and it looked, to me, way better as far as the saturation and everything. I prefer highly saturated colors. But I went into the settings, and there's an extra option in the settings to turn up the vividness. So I put it all the way up. Other people might want a more natural look. But go into screen mode, vivid. Down here is advanced settings. And you can raise the vividness. I put it all the way up. And you can change the white balance if you would like. I adjusted, I made it a little more warm. And that was that. And so played a game on here. It was just, what was it? Not Zenless Zone Zero. I played, what the hell is that name of that game? Wuthering Waves. And that worked just as fine as it did on the Fold 4. Honestly, the games are working about the same that I remember. I did install a couple PC games through the Game Hub app, which you get online. And you can install PC games, sign into Steam, install, like, I put Dirt 3 on there and a couple other games. Haven't tried it yet. I'm waiting for a gamepad to show up, and I just ordered it. I think it was a GameSir gamepad, and that should be showing up at some point. So that seems to work well with the Fold devices. So one thing that pissed me off, this isn't the phone's fault, but one thing that annoys me, you may not want to do the transfer in the store. I thought, okay, I can do the transfer in the store, and then I will be ready to go, and I can just use it on my way home. I was in walking distance, so I walked. So I was gonna, use it on my way home, and it'll be all ready. But I didn't think of the fact that the guy like takes it out of the box and then takes the screen protector off and everything. And I wanted to do that. And I didn't get to. And he put the case that I bought on it, which I bought it's like a Zag case, has a hinge protection and has a magnet, it has a little steel ring built into the case. It's kind of weak, but he put the case on, and I was like, man, I never got to hold the thing like without a case. I never even got to really see it without a case. He just took it right out and put the case on. I'm like, now I don't know what it looks like, and the thing's glued on. So, that you may want to think about that. If they tell you, do you want to hook it up if you want to have the experience of unboxing it? I wanted to do it on camera, but I can't because he did it. So now I know for future, if I get a new phone, I'm gonna do the transfer at home. That was like that. I was traumatized by this. But other than that, it's basically you have mostly the same software that you have on the whatchamacallit. I'm gonna fold it up. I'm afraid, because of my experience with the Fold 4, I'm like afraid of the phone right now. But yeah, so this is the cover screen. Definitely I wanted to do a comparison. That's what I should do in a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy, like making the video over half an hour long or something. I do have somewhere to go. But yeah, it's a nice cover screen. Definitely, if you feel it's too washed out, up the vividness there. But yeah, definitely a lot bigger. The keyboard is easier to use and type on. I was one that enjoyed the thin screen because it was easier to reach things. However, I'm kind of more leaning towards I like this because it's just easier to type, and I thought it was frustrating to type on the on that thin screen. So I think I like the trade-off of that and stuff. So it's very smooth, hasn't given me a hitch or anything. See how long that lasts? Always seems to be the thing when you get it out of the box and it's brand new, everything's working great, and then you might get it used to be really terrible, but you get a hitch here and there and such. But battery life, I was talking about the battery life. For me, it's been really good. I mean, it's average. It seems average. Charging is a little slow. It's nowhere near what it used to be when I had like the Note 10 Plus and all that. But it's average. Wasn't very impressed by the charging speeds. So far, it's a brand new battery, so it's working okay. And what else? The battery. Yeah, so doesn't charge very fast. I thought I had something else to tell you, but now I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, I mean, that's that. It's a battery. Now let's do a bit of a comparison. However, I can do it because of the screen being, not very easy to unfold. Between the Fold 4 and the new Fold 7, and like I said, I want to preface by I just want to say, 2000, too much. I don't care what anybody. I don't care how much you like it, because if you say just because you like it, it's worth a price, that basically leaves the floodgates open for it to be anything just because you enjoy it. It could be $2 million and be like, well, I enjoy the thing, so it's worth $2 million, and that's not the case. That should never be the case. Just because you enjoy something doesn't mean it should be worth infinite amounts of money. So now we're going to go with the comparison. All right, so now we're recording with the downgraded quality of the Beam Pro. I'm going to have very varying audio qualities because I need a new mic. My mic sucks. My mic is literally the phone mic, and it shouldn't be. So I need to do something about that. Now, obviously this is the, why does it look blurry? Now it's dark. Why does it automatically go dark? Anyways, so this is obviously the 7 isn't a very lucky. I just thought as a 7 might be a bad number for Samsung because the Note 7. But yeah, this is the Fold 7, Fold 4. And you can see the difference in size of the devices. I'm just going to try to not have much room, but I don't want to pair this up correctly, not in a biased way where I'm like, oh, look how big it is. So the cover screen is that much thicker. Now let's try to make sure it is lined up correctly. And so it's definitely a thicker device. I should have brought I don't have anything else, actually. I really wanted to bring in a real, like, candy bar style phone to compare that, but it's close to what I remember. And I have the Beam Pro, and it's just a little bit smaller than the Beam Pro. It's basically a phone-sized tablet thingy. It does 3D recording and all that for the X-Real glasses. I gotta try that with this. But yeah, I mean, The, the folding mechanism is definitely better, except for it's a little harder to get at. It does open a lot easier. It snaps into place there. And I have that, whereas this one, of course, has seen better days, and it opens that like that, and you can press on it and try to push down on it, but it doesn't really help. So, but there's the open display like that. You know, these two, that's a size comparison. And I think mostly the width, this is in 16:9. A lot of people like to use it like this. So I'm gonna put it this way. Here. So here it is, side by side in portrait. And then you will, very hard to pick it up like that. I used to be able to pick it up like that. I cannot pick the new one up like that at all. So we have the width. Line that up again. Let me try to bend it down a little to make it a little flatter, and so you can see what the difference is there. So this was known to have hinge issues where like a brush that cleans out dust would actually fail and cause this kind of thing to happen. But that did not happen in my case. That was actually something I actually did. So, again, I'd like to point out, just please get hinge protection if you decide to go with any of these folding phones, because that could be a problem. And, yeah. So, software is basically the same. Couple little differences. I showed you the Vivid slider there. Very hard to do things with this one that's not closing properly. So, performance-wise, I just, even though it's more powerful, it's not really that much of a difference in real-world use. Like, I'm sitting there playing, Genshin Impact or any of these other games, and it's not that much different. You might get higher graphic settings in some games, like what is that, Delta Force or whatever, but I don't know, it's not really like blowing my mind. It's just a little bit smoother and a little bit snappier, kind of, but you'll notice on this opening, you don't see the punch hole display, whereas it's right there. The camera on this is definitely better. I guess I showcased the camera quality by recording this video a bit. But the under display camera on this is not as high quality. I don't freaking use that thing, but maybe somebody uses it. And this one supports S Pen. Again, so if you upgrade to this, you lose S Pen support. You can use one of those horseshit styluses, those cheap styluses you could get online that work with anything. But it's not the same as like if you're an artist or something. It seems like a missed opportunity. Even if a lot of people didn't use it, it's like you have this big canvas here. If you're an artist, that would be great. Even just for a little idea to sketch down or something. As far as like taking notes, I mentioned those cheap styluses. As long as you get one with a fine tip that works, it should be fine. They do have like cases with styluses. I don't know why they call them S Pens, but they're not. But yeah, you can get a case that has a stylus that you can use on both the front screen and the cover display. Yeah, the cover display and this display, the main display here. So that's that. How long am I making this video? Yeah, so that's that. And this is this. So, yep. This has a screen protector on it, by the way, so it's all smudges is the screen protector. But there's not too much of a difference outside of the size and the processor and the cameras, which seem to be a lot better. Does 8K at 30 FPS, but you cannot do HDR with those settings enabled. So if you want to record HDR, it's 4K 60, which is perfectly fine. I noticed the quality did not look as good in 8K. It was darker because it's not HDR. And of course you get the 60 FPS with 4K. So that's a thing. Ooh, I just did something I didn't actually do, which is, what the hell do they look like when... What's the thickness like, right? I'm banging these phones around like they're pieces of shit. And you wonder why this one broke. Let's see, it's kind of hard to get the thickness on this camera here, but try to not smash it up. But yeah, you can kind of get an idea there. I hope the light is... Yeah, so it's definitely thinner. It's not as thin as, like, this unfolded. Like, if I do this, it's not, like, going to be thinner than this part. So it's still, you know, thicker than, like, the Fold 4 when it's unfolded, but it's definitely a lot thinner than it was. A lot easier to put in your pocket, and definitely a better phone. Just, is it a $2,000 better phone? No, no phone is $2,000 worth. I don't care what you say. $2,000 is ridiculous. I didn't even pay that much for my gaming PC. So that's my take so far. Just remember, I just got this yesterday. This is not a review. I can't tell you, like, in the long term, how good it is. I can only tell you what I've been dealing with for, like, a day. So this is just my thoughts on it so far. So, thank you for watching.